Two of the most important terms in the weaving process is the warp and the weft, locally known as the tana and the bana. You may ask, why am I suddenly telling you about warp and the weft? Among all the queries regarding fabric, the most requested ones are these two. And to understand these two fabrics, we need to have a basic knowledge of warp and weft. Hello, my name is Purnashish and this is Tips and Trivia by Deep Green. So in any weaving process, the warp and the weft interlocks with each other to create the fabric. The warp goes vertical and the weft goes horizontal. A regular weave is when all the weft go through all the warps. But in satin weave, the warp does not interlace with all the weft. Like in a 4 harness satin, the warp goes on top of 3 wefts and then below 1 weft. The warp is visible more on the upper side of the fabric. As the warp or the tana is more uniform and shinier, the upper side of the fabric appears more smoother and shinier on a satin weave than on a regular weave. But why am I telling you about satin weave today? It is because both the Gajji silk and the Mashru silk are satin weaves. The Gajji silk is generally made from mulberry silk. In Gajji silk, the warp and the weft both are silks. The Gajji silk thus appears shinier than any other regular silk. It is used by the royalties of Rajasthan and Gujarat. The bandhani design is almost symbolic to the Gajji silk. Unlike the Gajji silk, the Mashru has silk on its warp and cotton on its weft. And as Mashru is also a satin weave, the silk warp floats on the cotton weft and the Mashru gets a beautiful silk-like finish on one side and a rough cotton-like finish on the other side. I hope you liked this episode of Tips and Trivia by Deep Green. Stay tuned for more such tips and trivia.